So yeah, man, I think that you're very unique because it's the first time that I'm personally speaking with someone that's doing something very different. So you're a producer, but you help entrepreneur rappers, kind of get them more exposure, right?
Right.
So that's definitely something very different, and I can see why it's very important in today's world. There's so many rappers nowadays, and we have so many platforms where you can get exposed. Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, you name it.
Mhm.
But with more platforms comes more competition, and
Right.
it does take a lot of time, a lot of work, and producing your music. Writing the content, putting it out there. But now there's another aspect of promoting yourself, which is just as important, right?
Right.
So what made you decide to kind of create a brand or kind of like a service to help entrepreneurs get to that next step, that next level of not just writing music, but creating their own personal brand?
It's a good question. I mean, um, so like me personally, I'm like super into business. I've always been into it even before I knew I was a musician. I love business. I love money. I love the whole idea of that. And so that's kind of like in my blood. I'm like, I really feel like I'm a born entrepreneur. But also, like, I, so when it comes to like building out like products, services, content, messaging, all those things, I don't put out content and I don't do the stuff I want to do. I only pay attention to what I know my target market needs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't even like I think of things, but I'm like, well, what do they need though? Like so I have this thing called a customer avatar, like a dream customer, and I've like literally like written out like 2-3 pages of like my ideal customer, which I think everybody should do. And so like I think about that person like whenever I'm thinking of things, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I know you need to put out stuff that like you're good at. Like if your target market needs something that like you can't offer, it's like, okay, well then I can't offer it. Like, so it needs to be something you can offer, but I only think about, well, what does this person need? And I also just I look at the holes in the marketplace and like the holes in the industry. So like, I guess my industry is very like, it's like independent musicians, which is kind of it's a certain bottom level. My services aren't for anybody signed to a label or like a big industry artist, like I'm serving more of like somebody who's on the come up, like up and coming, who wants to invest in themselves. And so I look at like, well, who are the other like service providers in that realm of like serving my dream customer? Like who else
Yeah.
is serving my dream customer? And I just found the holes in like, I found the holes of like what's not being served out there. And like, there's plenty of people talking about like music marketing and brand building. Like that's such a basic topic. And my thing is like, I think it's really easy to just like regurgitate what you hear from like Gary Vee and like other marketers. It's like basic shit. And I don't want to say basic shit. So I try to always come up with my own ideas. It's kind of hard because the stuff they say is super true and it's
Mm-hmm.
necessary, but I'm like really like, all right, how do I like come up with what I know my dream customer needs? So that's kind of how I structure like coming up with like why I do what I do for like rappers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, what's really exciting is that, you can be a really good marketer, for any business, right? But
Mm.
because you're a producer yourself, you know about music, you know the best of both worlds. Is it fair to say that you're passionate about music and entrepreneurship?
Yeah.
So that's perfect.
I would even argue that I might argue that I'm more passionate about entrepreneurship than music.
That's good though. The point is you have two passions and you're using them as complements, to build something.
Right.
Because if you take another person, right, and they're just passionate about marketing and they don't know too much about music, and yes, they can produce some really bomb content, but because your thing about music and about entrepreneurship and marketing, it's the best of both worlds. And a lot of people can mess with you for that exact reason. You know yourself on both
Right.
realms. That's really important.
I would even say though, like, bro, it's a cool, interesting point that you picked that up. I kind of like to say I have like hidden passions. Like everybody knows I'm passionate about music. Everyone knows I love entrepreneurship. What a lot of people don't know about me is like I actually really want to help entrepreneurs not in music. Not right now, but I've done that before so like a while ago, I had a social media agency, literally had like the whole LLC, like everything. I don't do it anymore because I'm more focused on the music, but I did that because I really love like local business. Like I'm super passionate about local business. I love community and like all that. So I've consulted for local businesses and entrepreneurs who have nothing to do with music, and I love it. It's super fun. And I realized that um, I've realized that I can help anybody in any niche with their brand and their business. It doesn't have to be a musician, but my focus is on music because I've been doing music for 10 years and I just want to see it through to the place I know I can take it. But I really do eventually want to have some kind of like an inner circle or a mastermind or an academy that's for entrepreneurs of any niche. And because I feel like the foundational stuff goes for anybody, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I want to mention this. I was watching this documentary, and the first thing that came to mind was you. So I was watching the documentary on Netflix. It was called like the history of hip hop, right? And
Okay.
there's two stories to this. There's one with 50 Cent and one with Master P, right? And with Master P, he came out hustling, and he had this huge group of like, he just produced mad music, like OD amounts of music, and he put it out there, the
Right.
huge group. And what I think about is, he's producing a lot of content. Of course, during that time, he didn't really have social media. Now you can really utilize social media and promote yourself. But he just released tapes. Tapes was kind of like TikTok today. Everyone listened to tapes and whatnot in their cars. And
Yeah.
he just went ham on that. And, the word spread around the city, and then over time across the whole nation, and then eventually the whole world. And
Right.
his ideology was like produce as much music as possible, get massive amount of exposure, and eventually things will, you'll be big. Now with 50 Cent, when I think he's from Queens, he did kind of the same thing where he just put music everywhere. Back in his days, you couldn't download music. Everything was through CDs. And in New York, they had all these shops where they just sold mixtapes. And he would literally go to every one of these stores and have his mixtapes out there. The money that he, I think he was like a dealer, doing illegal
Yeah.
activities. With that money, he reinvested it into his music business, buying CDs, distributing it around the city that sold these CDs around the city itself. And he got massive amounts of exposure. Now you're taking kind of ideology with entrepreneur rappers with social media.
Yeah. You bring up two great inspirations to me. It's really cool that you brought those guys up. You really made me think about a lot of things just now, actually. You didn't even ask me a question, but I'm thinking about a lot of stuff like, I bet both of those dudes would say, man, if I had Instagram when I was on the come up, I'd be way bigger, right? And they look at our generation. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 24. I just turned 24.
Yeah, about the same. Yeah, like I'm 26, so about the same. Yeah, they look at our generation and the younger kids, and they're like, man, if we had what you guys have,
Oh yeah.
we'd be even bigger. And it's kind of funny. Like, so I graduated high school in 2011, and that's about around the time I started taking my music seriously as a career. So I was 17, and when I first started rapping, when I made that decision, we didn't have Instagram. It was around, but it had like 200 million users, like 300. Like not everybody had an Instagram account. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody had a Tumblr. Tumblr was a thing, but it wasn't like, oh, everybody has Tumblr. Oh, everybody has Instagram.
I never used Tumblr. Never used it.
Yeah, I really never. I did, but not big. And like everybody had Facebook. Facebook was lit. Facebook was popping. Imagine
for me, it was
that,
MySpace.
Right?
For me, it was MySpace in middle school.
Yeah. Okay. MySpace. Cool. Yeah. So like, Instagram wasn't a thing, and so Facebook advertising was not a thing either. And so I when I first started, I made CDs. Like hard copy CDs were still a thing. People had CD players in their cars, and like it wasn't all about the aux cord and Bluetooth. It was like people used CDs. And so like, and I think my generation, like I think yours too, like we grew up on CDs anyway. And so when we finally got cars, we were like, we need CD players because we finally, like we grew up with them. Kids now don't grow up with CDs. So that's just like, it's over. But so anyway, so my first, man, I want to say my first four mixtapes that I put out, I printed CDs and like I would go hand them out to people for free. You know, I'd spend my own money, 50 CDs. I would go to FedEx Kinko's. I would get blank CDs off Amazon. I'd get jewel cases off Amazon. Jewel, like the case.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go get glossy card stock, 50 of them, and I'd package all of them up by myself. I'd take a Sharpie. I would hand write on every single CD. Some of them were little notes. Some of them was just the person's name, but I'd write on the disc. I wouldn't write on the inside slip. I'd have a front and back cover, and I would do all of it, and I was handing them out for free. It would probably cost me like $100 to $150, I believe. Like, I don't remember exactly. It was something like that. But I always looked at that as this is an investment. Everybody who gets my hand held CD is a fan forever, no matter what. And it's true to this day. You know, people who got my hand CDs, like when I blow, they're going to be like, I got his CD. They're not going to forget. So, and I'm glad that I went through that, you know, and I agree with what Master P and what 50 Cent, their philosophy of putting out a lot of music. We see now the modern example is Russ, who put out a song every week for 3 years. It's like, people who doubt that strategy to me are like bullshitting completely, because that works. Like, and honestly, for me personally, bro, I would do that strategy. The only thing is, maybe it's my lack of focus. Maybe it's my lack of faith in myself, but I really, 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 really want to get money really badly. I love money, and I want to get money. And I have this fucking entrepreneurial spirit that goes beyond marketing. Like, cause when you're a rapper, all you have to do is market, you know, cause I don't know. I just feel like I want to build like systems and funnels, and like, I want to be a businessman. Like, man, I'm really going off on a tangent. I hope you're cool.
No, it's cool. No, I'm doing it. It's all flexible. I love it.
Yeah. Like Grant Cardone was on Jordan Belfort's podcast, The Wolf's Den. You should look it up if you haven't seen it. They actually like got into a fight, and it was dope as fuck. Like, you never see it. It was not political, not respectful at all. Grant Cardone was a total dick to Jordan Belfort, and I was like, this is hella funny. And Jordan Belfort is a sales guy, and Grant Cardone is kind of looked at as a sales guy because he does sales training. And Jordan Belfort asked him, are you a better salesman or a better marketer? Because I think you're a better marketer. And Grant Cardone just said, I'm a businessman. It just gives me chills. Like, he's like, I'm neither. I'm a businessman. He's like, eventually you need to grow up from cold calling and fucking do business. And for me, I don't know why. I just was like looking at myself as a rapper, and I wasn't comfortable as a rapper, because I'm like, I'm a businessman. I am a rapper, but I want to be a businessman. I don't want to just be a marketer. I don't want to even just be a marketer, a brand. I'm a businessman. That's who I am. I know it's who I am. I know it's where my heart is telling me to go. I know it's my brain is telling me to go. So I'm building a foundation for myself right now, using sales funnels, selling beats, teaching rappers how to produce their own music, mentoring people to collect revenue, to build income, to live, and to take that money and invest in myself. Because one day, either in 2022 or 2023, I will do a song every week without question, because I know I can. I could do that now, but I want to get money right now really badly first, and build my business, hire people out to build the funnels, do the email marketing, make the beats. Actually, two of my mentors, Legion Beats and Anno Domini, they don't even make beats anymore. They do joint ventures with other people, and they have team members who make the beats for them. That's where I want to go. And eventually I will do what Master P and 50 Cent said, to flood the streets with music. Like, I'm going to do that too. There's no question, but I want to get this money right now first, help other people. Yeah. So, dude, very, very long rant, but I kind of just wanted to get all that out. You know what I mean?
Nah, I feel you, because, you know, when you have different passions and one might overcome the other. So right now, in your example, is just your passion for business is overcoming the passion of making music, right? And you can always go back to that, right? I mean, right now you see rappers, they rap, they build their stacks, and then they invest in businesses, right? That's why you don't really hear like Jay-Z. He's making his billions of dollars doing other things, 50 Cent as well, you know? But you're kind of doing the reverse model where you want to get into the game of business now and make your stacks, right?
I'm trying to make my music my business though.
Yeah, you're
You know what I mean?
incorporating everything. Yeah.
By the way, like, just to throw that in there, they got signed. I'm not saying what they had an easy route. They did not have an easy route at all. And I don't want this to sound like I'm undermining them or knocking their hustle. But Jay-Z got signed to a powerful label. I don't think at the time they were powerful, but he got signed, and and they made business moves after music. Like, their music got big, but their music got big because of a label. And I don't realistically see myself getting signed to a label. Even if I got a deal, I wouldn't want one anyways. And so, like, that means that, like, as great as my music can be, it's really, like, doesn't matter if you don't have a business foundation anyway. So I built my skills as an artist. I've been doing it for 10 years. I've been producing for 3. And so I can always fall back on being a musician because I'm never going to lose that. I was just working on music right before this. And so I know my music will be there. I know I'm going to be able to put music out. I'm never going to stop. So I'm like, I don't need to think about music at all. Music is so a part of me, and it's so habitual. I produce my own music. I make my own beats and mix and master. And I got the recording set up right here. So I don't need to think about music. I will do music once I press the button. Where I'm not good is the business. Like, I don't have my business all the way where I want it to be. I don't have the money. And so that's where I spent 10 years on being a musician, and I've mastered my craft as that. I had not mastered my craft at being a businessman. And so I've realized that's more important. Once those two things connect, though, I'll take over the game. It'll come when it comes. So that's just kind of where I see things going. I might be wrong, bro. We'll have to see. We'll have to see when I'm dead if it worked.
Nah, but you're taking the initiative. That's the important thing. Now, in terms of your foundation, now, do you have a brand, or is it your personal brand that you're setting these foundations on? The marketing, the business,
It's just my personal brand, really. Yeah.
Okay. But do you plan, like, so are you just going to focus on your personal brand, or do you kind of plan on making some sort of like entity?
Great question. I mean, so one of my best friends, he started a clothing brand around the same time I did music. It's called Gifted by Choice. And for a really long time, a lot of people thought it was not for a long time. When he first got it started, bro, it was his brand. But he kind of stopped doing it. When I went off to college, I went to Chico State, and I would wear Gifted by Choice, his brand, but people thought it was my brand and wanted to buy from me. So I kind of did some collabs with him. And then I started kind of not taking over the brand, but sort of like, he kind of gave me the keys and said, you can do with it what you want, Gifted by Choice. It's a clothing company. And so I'm at a position right now where I don't know, I don't want to do clothing right now. I want to, but I can't because I'm so ultra focused on this one thing, which is something else. I have this focus where I have a sales funnel where I'm giving 15 free beats away, giftedstarterpack.com. You can get 15 free beats. And then there's an offer right after that to upgrade those beats to unlimited licenses with some free bonuses. I'm really focused on that breaking even. So I don't want anything else to happen until that breaks even. I don't care about, I'm not putting music out. I'm not making videos. I'm working on music, but not much. I'm not doing clothing. I only care about that. I care about that. Break even this motherfucking funnel and become a profitable business. Clothing is its own thing, bro. It's tough to build a brand. It is. But I know that once the time is right, I will go with Gifted by Choice and build that movement. But clothing, I respect the culture of clothing, and I respect the clothing game and the clothing brand so much that I know what it takes. So that's not where my direction is going. I'm going with this other direction first, and then we'll go and build that out.
Wait, so I got kind of lost. So
yeah, good. You're good.
You have the ClickFunnels, and with those ClickFunnels, you said you're giving away free beats.
Yeah. So I have a sales funnel called, if you go to giftedstarterpack.com, I need to finish building that funnel, which I'm going to do after this. Giftedstarterpack.com, you can get 15 free beats.
Okay.
After that, like, I'm going to be transparent with people. I don't care if they know my funnel. After those beats are free, and they're MP3s and they're basic licenses, which is still worth something. Basic licenses are usually $20-$30. I'm giving you 15 of them for free. Right after that, the next window is, hey, do you want to upgrade these to unlimited license? Okay, do you know, like, a lot about music? Like, see, I'm talking music jargon. Like, I don't know if you know the difference between like licenses on beats and stuff.
I'm sort of familiar, but I mean,
Yeah,
I
my
know
bad,
that
bro.
no, it's good. Like, I think that if someone has a license to a beat, no one else can have it, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So my fault. I'm so used to music and music jargon. Like, I get interviewed and I always talk to people and so like, um, I would rather back up and just make it entrepreneurial terms. Like, I'm
Okay.
giving somebody something for free that's
Mm-hmm.
worth something. The next window is I'm giving you the opportunity to buy something that is worth way more than what I'm selling it to you
Yeah.
for. I'm giving it to you at an extremely good price. Actually,
So it's a freemium model, basically, right?
it's exactly what it is. It's a freemium model. Correct. Yep.
Okay.
And so like I was saying, like, break even. So like I spend money on advertising. I use Facebook and Instagram ads. Okay. You spend $100, you want to get $100 in revenue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm getting email subscribers, right? Which is great. I'm
Oh, building
fucking
up your
building
email list. Yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead.
big time. But like the goal is not to lose money to get emails, right? Although most businesses do that, like most businesses accept the fact that they're going to lose money on the front end. Like that's what most people do. And then they'll get it back on the back end. But like
Mm-hmm.
because I'm in the ClickFunnels community and I'm like an avid ClickFunnels user, and I've read Russell's books. I've seen what Russell Brunson can do. I've seen what other online marketers do. He's actually profitable on his front end funnels, which means that he's getting email subscribers and getting profit, which is like mind blowing. And so I just want to get to this point where I'm break even on getting email subscribers and then on the back end profitable. So when I was talking about that, that's what I meant. I'm more focused on that than building the clothing brand and the entity that is Gifted by Choice.
So maybe that will come later on, but you kind of just want to, do that model first before you dive into those other projects, right?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, absolutely. Because building a clothing, I mean, I look at my life and I look at things like in projects. Like I look at big projects and like I have like being a producer, being a rapper, and then my clothing brand. Like that, those are all three completely different projects. So they can all relate, but they're different projects. I'm focused on the music producer project, and then in that there's even separate projects, right? Like my project right now is my front end funnel. Like that's my project, but clothing brand, like as you can see, like that's a whole nother like project, like way away from producing. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I'm focused on this project right now because like logically thinking, like you have to, okay, this is just how I think. Like I think very logically when it comes to like these kinds of things. And like I was like, okay, well, what's going to have my best profit margins, and like what's the best bet for the future? So like selling beats is a way better profit margin than clothing. Like clothing is like hard because you have to invest money to get clothes, or like you have to invest to get ads. Like you have to, like, it's hard, right? And like clothing is like a very like specialized, I don't know, it's too much to even get into, but like beats, I was like, okay, well, if I can just build an audience of like rappers that are into what I do, that are entrepreneurial rappers, I could plug in anything else. So like I'll plug the clothing into that. You know what I mean? Because the
Yeah.
clothing brand, the messaging behind the clothing is the exact same messaging that I do for my audience. It's kind of like take matters into your own hands. You've got control, strong person, like shit like that. So I was just thinking, like, should I try to, like, people, like, if I try to build up my audience of clothing lovers, not everybody who likes my clothing will necessarily buy beats from me. But everybody who like buys like my beats and like my music shit, like they might still buy the clothing because it's the same messaging, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of my logic behind it.
Now, okay, I'm getting the idea. Are you familiar with Lyrical Lemonade and 88 Rising?
Not Idiot Rising. And Lyrical Lemonade, I only have seen their videos, but
Okay, so
maybe there's more to the story.
the reason why I want to bring those two companies first, let's bring up Lyrical Lemonade. So you know who Cole Bennett is?
Yeah.
All right. So he didn't have to create Lyrical Lemonade. it could have just been Cole Bennett. You know, everyone knows him. We all know his talent. And now with Lyrical Lemonade, he has like a huge entity where he has the events, that model. He has merch, selling lemonade, hoodies, shirts, whatever it is. YouTube revenue. So he has all these business models that come into play where he can make money.
Right.
88 Rising, kind of similar. They're you can say they're a digital media company that has like kind of their own artist per se. I don't know too much about them, but it's kind of like on the same realm, right? Same pedestal. In your case, it's kind of like the same thing where I see this like as a spider web. Directly in the center is you. You correct me if I'm wrong here. So you have a section or a project of you being a rapper. You don't want to be signed to a record label. You can make money on your own like that. Selling the merch, that's like down the line. And you have these funnels of selling your beats, which is like another freemium model that you were just describing.
Right.
So you have all these projects that you kind of intertwining, and you're the center of it all, right? You're the main brand.
You hit the nail on the head, bro. And that's
Okay.
exactly like, yeah, you got it. I mean, that's I know how powerful it is to have a personal brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that like it's way more powerful to build the personal brand first and then branch out and do whatever you want after that. There's a really good book I have here called 1 Million Followers by Brendan Kane. And it's a really dope book. It's a book basically about how I built a massive social media following in 30 days. This dude literally did that on Facebook. He had to spend like 10 grand and he just knew how to do the ads the right way. But the idea, and it's really interesting, he kind of alludes to it, but his idea behind the book is when you have an audience, you can do anything. Like, and this whole book is only about having an audience. Like, he does not talk about funnels. He doesn't talk about revenue at all. He doesn't talk about business. This is marketing, and specifically how to build a massive audience off just content, and just like, how do you generate the most interest possible? And so, and after reading this book, it was like, oh, okay, like that is what I need to do. Because I think Gary Vee talks about that too a lot. Like, if you really think about it, like Gary Vee's like free content, like it's not really like deep business content. Like, that's not what he talks about. He's the same. It's like building an audience and kind of like living your life. That's like Gary Vee shit. So there's a reason that they talk about it though. Like, it's really like that first step of like what I see. Look, bro, and I don't know yet. Like, this is where I've seen things go. Like, you do need to build that audience first, I think. And because you can have products and services but if you have no sales, then like, what's the point? You're only going to get sales if you have an audience. There's a reason like Grant Cardone is a great marketer. He didn't even need to be, though. He was already rich before he blew up on social media. He's rich. Gary Vee doesn't need to blow up on social media either, bro. He's rich. Like, that dude invested in Facebook and
Twitter.
No. He invested in Twitter. Maybe he did invest in Facebook actually. And
Yeah,
I think
did,
Uber,
yeah.
but he was rich, bro. He didn't need to build a social following, but he knew that when you do build that social following, you have leverage. And same with Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone has made millions of dollars more because he has an audience. Andy Frisella, same. He's my favorite entrepreneur. He started this podcast, the MFCEO Project. He was already rich. He already had companies generating hundreds of millions of dollars, but you got to build that audience first. It's critical. And in my opinion, the best way to build an audience is you have to have really good content, really, really good content. I think 3 things that you need, like, you have to build great content, which I could get into more in depth more in a second. You have to have great content. If you have no money, which I think I almost want to say everyone listening to this is like broke. So I'm going to say it in those terms. Like, you need to outreach a lot. You need to direct message people, and you need to get people on the fucking phone and call them on the phone number, and talk to people one-on-one. You have to do that. It's not scalable, but you got to do it. The third, you have to have money to invest in advertising. Like, eventually you need to do that, because you're missing out on an opportunity to, like, you just the shit you can do with money and Facebook ads right now is ridiculous. Like I've gotten like tens of thousands of views on music videos off just a few $100s of ad spend. It's ridiculous. And I don't even have the money to spend, but I do it anyway. Like I use my credit card. I'm like, I can't miss out on this opportunity to spend money to build an audience. It's just too good to be true. So, you know, so now like in terms of like good content, like, dude, good. Like, do you want me to talk? Like, that's a whole nother topic. Like, do you want me to talk about what good content means?
Then let me just ask you a quick question.
Yeah, ask me another question, bro. I know I'll rant a lot.
No.
So just, yeah, go ahead.
I'm just sort of confused because I feel
Sure.
there's a clash of two ideas where you do want to create. You already have like a pretty large audience on Instagram, right? Of course, you want to build that and make it much bigger. But I feel that in my opinion, that you would definitely want to branch out, build a brand, increase your audience, but at the same time, you want to make money now, monetize. And
Right.
I feel I might be wrong here that if you do decide to monetize, you have that freemium model. But if you do decide to like just monetize, look for money rather than giving out free stuff, then you're kind of limiting yourself in how fast you can build your personal brand. I might be wrong here, but what are your thoughts on that?
Wait, so I think I get what you're saying, but can you like
basically, do you think it's
break it
better
down?
just like give everything out for free, you know, screw the money for now, think maybe 6 months, 1 year down the line, build a bigger audience, take, you know, lose some money short term, maybe even long term, 2-3 years, who knows how long you're gonna you know, wait? Or do you just want to really just make money immediately with the audience you have right now and with the paid advertisement?
Are you, let me just clarify, like, are you kind of speaking on the basis that like monetizing is limiting how big your audience can get?
Yeah, somewhat. I
It's
might
an
be
interest,
wrong.
you know, no, you're not. And it's because a lot of people think that. So if you really think, I mean, so first of all, my model, although it's freemium, like right after you sign up, there's an opportunity to buy something like right after. So I'm already monetizing, but here's what I think. What better way to build an audience than giving them an opportunity to buy something? Because like who is going to like you more? Somebody who's just watched your content or somebody who's bought something and like what they bought from you?
True. I think that Spotify and Apple Music, that's why people love Spotify, because that's that freemium model. I think Apple Music, it gives you like a limit of like, I don't know, a couple
like
songs.
3 months.
Yeah. But Spotify, you can use it whenever you want. If you want to have ad-free content, ad-free Spotify, then pay for the premium version.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so like to me, like, it depends, bro. I think everybody's in their own place in their career. Like for a long time, I really didn't have anything. I didn't know how to monetize for a long time, you know? And I never, ever was of the thought of mind of, oh, I don't want to monetize yet because that'll make me look bad to my audience. Like that is limiting beliefs. And that, like, in my opinion, I could be wrong. Actually, bro, I don't even want to talk about other people. All I know is that I think that's a limiting belief on money. There's nothing wrong with monetizing your brand, bro.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, like people want to buy things. Like we all want to buy things because like we want value and we know that things that are valuable cost money. So like, I'm not asking you to pay me for some shit. I'm asking you to pay me for dope ass beats and like, I'm going to give you trainings on like video trainings on like, that's going to help your career. Like, and I'm not going to charge you an arm and a leg. Like I'm giving you value, bro. So you're going to appreciate a car that you saved up for and worked hard for and bought rather than some free piece of shit car that you got from a fucking your dad or mom. Like, you know what I mean? You're not going to appreciate something you get for free. People don't appreciate shit they get for free. You know what I mean? So like, like I don't think like, I don't think like monetizing your brand is going to limit. And like, if, by the way, bro, let's say there's people who are in your brand, or let's say they're like exposed to your content. They look at you, if you monetize and they look at you and go, oh, he's trying to charge me money, I don't like him. Fuck them. You didn't want them in the first place. You never wanted them. Like nobody who's trying to build an audience is only trying to build an audience. Anybody who's trying to do that is lying, bro. Everybody who's trying to build an audience wants to make money. Can't we just all talk? Like, what's wrong with us admitting we all want to get rich? What the fuck is the problem, bro? Like, so what better way to start building your audience than give them a chance to invest in you? Like,
Yeah,
because
I
if you
see. I
want
see your
some shit
viewpoint.
for, yeah, you get what I mean, bro. If you want some shit
Yeah,
for free, go on my YouTube channel, check me out for 10 minutes, but you'll get more out of me if you give me money because I
yeah,
have more to give you. So
yeah. I
I don't
think
think, yeah.
I was gonna say in business, there's no one way of doing things, right? You know, I don't listen a lot to Grant Cardone. Listen to a lot of Gary Vee, and he says, hold your breath for as long as you can, provide free content. But I think when I watch Grant Cardone and other like marketers, they're more about, you know, paid advertisements and monetizing as soon as possible, being a business as soon as possible. And I just realized that there's so many people who have different ideologies, yet they're so successful. There's no one right way of doing it, you know?
Yeah, and like that's the thing, like that's why I said I stopped myself when I was about to say something about other people because I don't want to speak on what other people should and shouldn't do. By the way, like Gary Vee, I've also heard him say money is the oxygen of business.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't have money, you don't have a business. So it's like he's like, let's differentiate this real quick. Do you want to make money or do you want to build an audience? Like, or like I don't remember what he had said, but I remember him saying money is oxygen. If you don't have money, your business can't breathe. So if you're a content creator and you're just trying to figure it out, bro, cool. But like, if you say you want to build a business, you need to make money.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have something to monetize, if you're not selling anything, you don't have a business.
Yeah.
Which is cool. It's not a problem, but I didn't have a business for fucking 8 years. I didn't have a business. I was a rapper. I didn't know what monetizing was. I didn't know how. And there's nothing wrong with it. You know, It is what it is. I just wish people would be, and I can't control people. I just wish people would be more like, rather than just blindly listening to Gary Vee, like I wish people would fucking think for themselves and like say like, think of their own ideas, bro. Like people just hear Gary Vee say something like that and then they're like, oh, say I'm not going to monetize. It's like, no, idiot. That's not what Gary Vee even just said. He's just saying like, try to build your audience as much as you can. But bro, if you have bills to pay, like, dude, you need to make money. So
For sure.
I don't know. It is what it is, bro. People do what they want to do. I don't care.
Now, I feel you're the type of guy who has mad ideas, working on obviously a lot of projects. Now, how do you allocate your time between your different tasks?
I stopped. Yeah, that's a good question. I stopped trying to do hella projects. I don't do hella projects now. I think about a lot of stuff. I don't do a lot. Like I have one project and it's making money as a music producer. That's my project. Okay. So I have all these other things involved with that one thing. Right. Remember I told you my goal is to have a funnel that breaks even. That's it.
Yeah.
So what do I need to break even? Got to have my ads perform well. And I need to have a lot of other types of content, or I'm sorry, a lot of other types of traffic, which is going to come from content. So how do I allocate my time? First things first, what is my goal right now, right? My goal, I have a goal for January to make a certain amount of money profit. Cool. All right, I got my goal set. Great. Let's reverse engineer. How many customers do I need? How much money do I need to make from those customers? Blah, blah, blah. So the way I allocate my time is I use a system called the Power List, which I got from Andy Frisella. Basically, it's 5 critical tasks that you have to perform. I can show you my phone. I have it on my phone. 5 critical tasks that you have to perform. When you finish one of those tasks, you cross it out. And when you finished all 5, you write a W for win. You won the day. If you didn't finish everything, though, you have to write an L because you lost. And so I like literally like write my Power List like, you can't see it. Fuck it, it's fine. You like write it with like the dots like on the notes, and you can like click it.
Okay,
and, like, yeah. You can do it. I used to handwrite it though. So I use that system personally, and it really, really, really helps just kind of keep everything in check. And when I tell people about that process, a lot of people go, all right, you know, I'm not really ready to do 5 things. Maybe I'll try 3 things. And I go, no. Pressure yourself to do more, because if you lose a day, that's good. It's good to lose. I actually lost the first 2 days. I tried this December 17th and December 18th of 2017. I lost. I lost. And I was like, cool. Like, I know why I lost. Like, you have to put yourself through losing your day, because then you'll know why you lost. So that's kind of the productivity system that I use. But everybody has their own thing. That's just what I use.
And so whenever you have a lot of wins throughout the day, do you kind of keep on adding more tasks?
No.
No, just always 5?
Once I win the day, I go watch Netflix. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like once I win the day, I'll go do all the other shit I have to do. Yeah, for sure, bro. Because that's where balance comes in. I used to do, I used to go beyond my power list, which was great. Like it created a lot of progress, and I still do sometimes, but I got burnt out. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I went one time, I went for like, I want to say I did like 80, like I did 80 days in a row where I had 8 things on my power list. And I won every day, 80 days in a row. It was like really fucking crazy. Like, I don't remember. It might've been 70.
Mm-hmm. No, it's crazy. Like if you just start your day, you wake up in the morning, then you start working and you just work. So you don't have a list, you do work. And then at the end of the day, this is for me, maybe for you too, and anyone listening, you don't feel productive. But if you have a list and you have check marks, like, oh damn, I actually did something. It's weird.
Yep.
It's just like a psychological trick that makes you feel good when you have a list and you have those check marks right next to the task that you're supposed to be doing that day,
Yep.
So it's good. Check mark.
Yep. And that's why, when I'm done with my list, I stop. I'm done. I'm going to go do what I want to do. I'm going to hang out with my friends. I'm going to do, maybe I'll record a song for fun, or I'm probably just going to go chill and watch Netflix, like most likely, or spend time with my family, because then I'm ready for the next day. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready. I'm ready for the next day, but you're really right. I used to go through that too. I wouldn't write a list. I would just kind of go, and like, it's crazy. You actually are being productive because you're getting shit done, but you don't feel like you're being productive, right? And you don't really, the other thing too is you don't know what you're really doing. You don't know how much you're getting done. You don't actually know. I write it down and I can look at the last 30 days and look at what I did. And I can be like, whoa, I did a lot. Damn. You know what I mean? Like, it's really helped with my confidence, man. I used to say like, damn, I don't know what I'm doing. I never really had any wins. Like I just haven't accomplished anything. I've released a mixtape, but it didn't do well. I've done shows that whatever. I never really had the accomplishment. But now, like from doing this power list for 2 years, I can look back, or no, I'm sorry. Shit, man. About to be 3 years. Wow, cool. Yeah, it's about to be 3. Like from doing this power list for 3 years, I can look back at the last 3 years and look and say like, oh my God, like, I taught myself how to produce music. I built a business. I'm building a business. I started and failed at a business, which I think is cool that I've actually had that under my belt. I've actually started and failed 3 businesses, which is, I think, even doper.
All independent from what you're doing?
What?
Those 3 businesses, were they completely
different? Yeah, it was
things?
like I started affiliate marketing. I started a Shopify drop shipping store, and I started a social media marketing, and they all failed because I quit. I didn't like them. Like I quit, whatever. And yeah, it was cool. It's cool. Like I just gone through a lot of those, but it's because I wrote it down and I was able to see what I've been able to do. And the other thing too, when you write it down, you can like more clearly see what's good and what's bad. Like good artists see in the spaces that they paint, but great artists see the white space where they don't paint. So they're paying attention to that. And so for me, it's the same thing. Like I know and like my power list, my tasks, my things, like that's where I'm painting. But the white space is where you need to pay attention. What are you doing when you're not on? Right. And so, or what's causing you to not get it done? So for me, my white space was filled with things that were stopping me. For example, like the biggest thing that stopped me was like, I would wake up too late. I'd get my day started too late. I would be on my phone too long, and I'd be talking on the phone to my friends too much, and I wouldn't get my power list done. That's why I really pressured myself to put that L and circle it and say, why'd you lose? Like, damn, bro, you spent an hour on your phone in the morning, or like you talked to your friend for an hour and a half after that. And then you started your work and you were burnt out by 3 o'clock and you didn't even get shit done. So you pay attention to the white space. Like, where are you not? So now, like, I wake up, first thing I do is I exercise. I wake up and I get out and move. Like I got to run or like do some kind of workout. Then it's breakfast, then it's reading, then it's cold shower, then we work. It's the white space. Then later I'm going to go do a second workout, which I still have to do. And I'm going to meditate and like, I'm going to go spend time with people I fuck with, not people who like ruin my energy, you know, or like, I'm just going to watch Netflix because dude, when I watch Netflix, bro, I get rejuvenated. Like I chill out. I'm good. I get a good
Recharge your
laugh.
batteries. Yeah.
Yeah, bro, I do. Like, and I'm not guilty about watching Netflix. Like it is what it is. I get my stuff done. I'm working 7, 8, 9 hours a day anyway. It's like, okay, I'm going to watch my Netflix when I get the time, not a lot. So that's what's great about a productivity system where you write things down is great artists look at the white space and then they know where they can and can't paint. Did that make sense, that example?
No, yeah. So in the spaces that you don't see, I mean, when I first heard that expression, I just thought that if you leave out the white spaces, I just thought that you had to look at the spaces or the failures or the spots that you're missing. Basically, don't focus on your weaknesses, you know, or the missing joints that you don't have in your,
right,
you know, in your portfolio. That's what I initially thought.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just more of like, there's organized time and there's not organized time. So like the organized time, my power list is the painting, where my paintbrush is going. But everything else that I'm not organizing, that I just like, I don't write it down, my free time, that's the white space. You have to pay attention to both, you know? Don't spend your white space doing shit that's going to bring you down. Like I got to be 1,000%. Like when I'm on my phone, it's not good. Netflix really helps me rejuvenate. Being on my phone does not. Being on my phone, my mind's like this. Netflix is like, all right, bro, I can chill now. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. And just talking about the list as well, like it makes you look forward to something, you know, once you have those 5 tasks completed, then you can look forward to chilling afterwards. But if you don't have that list, you can keep on working and working and working and working. But, you know, if you have that list, you have a structure, you have an order to your day, and you can have something to look forward to. Because if you have an X or an L on that list, it makes you feel bad, and you have to make sure that before I can chill or whatever, I need to finish my list, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Now I kind of wanted to like shift the topic a little bit. We didn't speak about music. So you said you were 27, right?
Yep, I'm 20. No, I'm about to be 27 in November.
Okay, so were you or maybe still a big fan of 90s rap, like old school rap? Somewhat?
Not like a ginormous diehard fan. Like obviously I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, I mean, Pac, Biggie, big on Jay-Z. I like Jay-Z. 50 Cent, but 50 Cent was more like early 2000s actually.
Yeah. I think we're more familiar with like the early 2000s with like Nelly, Kelly Rowland, 50 Cent, you know, Missy Elliott, all those folks.
Yeah. 50 Cent was my first favorite rapper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love 50 Cent. And then I found out about his story, and then I saw him do the Get Rich or Die Trying movie, and like I kind of lightweight think that Get Rich or Die Trying movie was a little bit of like an underrated moment in history for hip hop. I kind of think. I think it was a little underrated. I feel like Eminem's movie was like
that's a great movie
really monumental, and it was kind of like a better movie. But like 50 Cent's that whole thing was like, I just think that he kind of like, I think in history of hip hop, like I think that movie was a little underrated. I think that movie and that whole, he was doing the movie and making they have a soundtrack for the Get Rich or Die Trying movie. He was literally making the movie and the soundtrack at the same time. Like he would go do his movie and then get off set and go to the studio. And literally somebody asked him, when do you have time to sleep? And 50 Cent's like, sleep? Like, I can't sleep. I'm too hungry. And it's just like, whoa, bro. Like, that's just like, people just don't even like, I feel like 50 Cent's just like kind of underrated, like in a way.
Yeah.
Like, I think he got his shine. I think people look at him, oh, maybe he's like a washed up rapper, but it's like, no, dude, 50 Cent revolutionized rap. He did. People just really like, he revolutionized rap, gangster rap. He really just, I don't know, bro. I respect 50 Cent a lot. And he fucking invented vitamin water, bro. That's $1 billion brand. Like,
no, wasn't he an investor? Like a heavy investor?
He might have been a really heavy investor, but I mean, it's like he has a majority in it.
No, yeah.
Everyone knows him for Vitamin Water. You know what I mean?
I definitely grew up into the hip hop scene through 50 Cent, The Game,
Mm.
G Unit, especially G Unit.
Ah, yes, yes,
Like,
me too.
yeah, I just like the music that I just truly remember is like, yeah, 50 Cent, G Unit, um, like what is it, Chingy, Ludacris, like those earlier times.
Kingy,
Like,
oh, dude, oh my God, yes. See,
yeah, I
that's
wonder what
what I grew
happened.
up on.
Well, yeah, my favorite song like was Holiday Inn with like Snoop Dogg, Ludacris, for well, no, it was Pharrell in it.
Dog and Ludacris.
Yeah, Chink. Yeah, those three. That in the music video was just bomb. And I think like you know what,
Totally.
that era of music, the music videos were just off the hook, and
I thought they were
it just like the creativity, and even with
totally.
Eminem and his like comedic videos was just another level of like entertainment. Of course, he can rap, but his entertainment of like humor with those videos is just like off the hook.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, and I think like I kind of think Drake is on that level with his videos right now. He doesn't put out tons of music videos, but if you look at his
Oh
music
yeah.
videos, like, did you see the one that he just put out for Popstar?
Wait. I saw the most recent one where they're playing ball with the Nike player, with the athletes.
Oh,
With the
okay.
one?
So,
Is that it?
okay, that's another good example. That's not the one I was talking about. That's a great example. No, you got to watch the one. You got to watch Popstar, bro. It's a really good video. So, but that's a good example of a video
Wait,
too. Like
what's the one
Popstar is
with
the
Lil
Popstar is
Yachty?
the song. No. Popstar is a newer song he has with DJ Khaled. I'm
I
a
have to see
pop
that.
star, not a doctor. Like, yeah, he's dope. Go
Gotta
watch
watch
it,
it.
bro. After
All right.
this, go watch it. It's a
All
good
right.
video. But but yeah, like Drake does a great. He does a really great job with his music videos as well. So crazy you bring up Chingy. My favorite song by Chingy was One Call Away. Do you know that song?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I think that was like a second hitter.
so
Uh,
good.
you know what makes me sad is like MCs, rappers, they kind of have a moment of shine for a good 2, 3 years. And then they
Yep.
kind of forgotten about either they stop producing music or they're just in their business element because once they have enough money, you can only make so much money just being a straight up rap star. You can make a lot more money elsewhere. And that's what Jay-Z is kind of doing now and Lil Wayne, I think, too. Um, but yeah, it does make me sad. There's only like a certain amount of people who are just killing the game since early. A prime example is Drake. You know, there's so many rappers coming in, but he's still like number one, and not many rappers can do that. Rappers come and go, but he is just on top of his game at all time. And that makes me wonder, like, what is it exactly? Is it, people say the hip hop business, this music in general, is a very political. But of course, if you have that much talent, you're always gonna, rise to the top. I just wonder what it is exactly. Is it the combination of two? Like, is it talent or is it just the politics within the music industry?
I have a lot of good things to say about Drake. If you want to hear my opinion of why he's so good, I mean,
I'm done. Yeah. If you have
so
time.
like, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm solid. Yeah, we good. So Drake, to me, like, there's so many things to talk about with Drake, but I personally think the thing that made him so great was he blurred the lines between rapping and singing because he just like he would rap and he would sing and then he would rap sing and he would be very melodic. I really think he did a great job with that on Nothing Was the Same. I feel like Nothing Was the Same. Well, yeah, I think Nothing Was the Same was when he did that a lot. I mean, he's always been doing blurring the lines. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? When he raps like a certain
No,
way,
I
he's like,
do, but I want to go against the grain of what you're saying. I think
okay, yeah,
the biggest thing that makes him big is I think he writes music that is relatable to a lot of people.
I agree. See, okay, yes, very true. Like he'll say some shit, and I'm like, okay, so right, so breaking down. See, I've broken this stuff down too. Like I think like his he says things that are like vague but
Hmm.
specific.
Yeah, pretty
Same time, like
much.
he'll say something like, I picked you up and we didn't. He'll say some shit like I'm trying to think of a line like from him. There's so many I can't, but he'll just say something that's so like it's like he's talking about a real story, but he doesn't get in depth with describing the story, but you can feel it in the emotions. Whereas guys like Nas and J. Cole, you can watch a movie while you hear their music. He's not,
Mm-hmm.
Drake's not like that. Drake's music's like you can feel the music more than you can see it.
Yeah.
One of the best songs that I think Drake is an example of that would be From Time with Jhené Aiko. And you know what he's talking about, you know? It's like, whoa, this is like dope, you know? So I think that also, and blurring the lines. But so the way I look at artists in terms of like how great they are is I think it's really hard to say just from like numbers, like who sold the most records, streams, all that. Like that's obviously an indicator too. But I think more is the influence that they had on the game. And like the two artists that I think were the most impactful of the late 2000s was Drake and T-Pain. I kind of think T-Pain is like the most
Really?
underrated artist. Well, how many rappers are using autotune? Like that's T-Pain.
Yeah, I guess he did a
Single-handedly,
revolution.
that is T-Pain. Like he wasn't the first ever to use autotune. He had, I think Jennifer Lopez had done it. Daft Punk was big on it. But he was like, I saw him talk about it. He's like, I heard J-Lo do a song in the 90s and I heard Daft Punk. I was like, I need that. What is that thing they do? Autotune. Like he brought autotune to hip hop. He blurred the lines between pop and rap. He was the first to
Yeah.
do that. Yeah.
He brought a
Who
new
was the next?
category. Yeah.
Yep. Then Kanye. Kanye went to T-Pain and was like, I need to do autotune. Lil Wayne went to T-Pain and was like, I need to do autotune. Bro, then you look at like, I use autotune. Everybody uses autotune. That's T-Pain. So, but then Drake blurred the lines between rap and singing. And so I look at impact. Now you look at how many rappers are like sad boy rappers. Like Bryson Tiller is a child of Drake. I don't care what he has to say or what other people, like, dude, that's a disciple of Drake.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of rappers, you look at that, it's like, that's where rapping and singing comes together. Anybody who sings and raps and does auto-tune is a disciple of T-Pain and Drake to me, which is like everyone.
Mm-hmm. I think in music, it can go across any industry. If you do something different, if you put a new category in that business or in that line of business, you're going to be remembered for it, you know?
Yeah.
A quick example, it's a really rough example is, you know, the medicine ibuprofen, you know,
okay. Ooh,
you think of Advil, you know, like, for example, you call things Scotch tape. That's the name of the business, is tape, right? There's like
Scotch is the brand name.
Yeah. There's
Kleenex.
There's another one with the fax machine. I forgot the name of it, but
Xerox.
So there's like Xerox me this, Xerox me that. They don't say what the actual product is, but they say what the brand is, you know? And with the example of music, T-Pain really introduced auto-tune. You can say Drake introduced the mixture or the combination of singing and rap and the mesh of those two together. You can say Slim Shady introduced good music with comedic sort of music videos, you know? And as long as you bring something new to the table, something that no one has ever seen before, is going to get a lot of, you know, like people are going to remember it, and you're going to be held as, you know, an influencer, a pioneer in that industry. That makes sense.
No question about it, bro. And that's a good point. I've always looked up to artists who do that, you know, like, you know, musically, 50 Cent was my first like favorite musician. But like when I decided, it's really weird actually, this kind of naturally happened, but when I decided to be a musician as a full-time career, I was 17 and I was like, this is what I want to do. I don't know, immediately I was like, who do I want to be like? Like, who are the people I'm reverse engineering? And it was Kanye and Rick Ross and Jay-Z, because they did business. Well, Kanye did like producing, that's why. Because I saw Kanye and I was like, he's eclectic with his music. You know, he revolutionized what it means to be a producer and a rapper. Jay-Z, business. Rick Ross, business. You know, Nipsey, R.I.P. Nipsey, business. You know, and then when Kanye was getting into like clothing, you know, he was like getting into fucking clothing. It's cool. I was like, all right, for show, you know. And so like, I've always looked at myself like, what are you going to do? Like, is it going to be through your music? Is it going to be through music and something else? So like with me and like my legacy and like what's going to build my legend is like, I want it to be through digital marketing and like bringing like because there's musicians who've done digital marketing, like my mentors, Legion Beats and Anno Domini. Those dudes revolutionized selling beats online because they use ClickFunnels for selling beats. They're like the first dudes that ever did it. But I want to be like, I'm going to take that step further with music, like as a rapper, you know. And I
Mm-hmm.
like Russ, not pioneered, but he kind of did, like, big on like owning the masters to his own music. Like Russ makes all of the sounds that you hear in his music. So he, like, Kanye doesn't even do that. Kanye brings other people in, you know. Same with DJ Khaled. DJ Khaled doesn't make his beats, he brings other people. Russ literally does it all. And so I'm also doing that, but I want to bring it even a step further and go deep onto the digital marketing. And like Jay-Z's looked at his business, but I'm going to be looked at as like, I didn't just do business. I brought you the business. Like all my fans, like I brought you business. Like you're going to be a business person when you fuck with me. I'm going to be like Gary Vee. Like that's what I'm trying to be, like more like, let me be like the Gary Vee of music, where you watch my content. Now you want to be an entrepreneur. And now from watching my content, you can be an entrepreneur. And really, like, I always want to be in the trenches. Like I feel like a lot of people get away from that. People get away from, like, they're not in the trenches anymore. You know, they're way above it. I never want, maybe one day I will, but I want my, like Grant Cardone is in the trenches. And even though Grant Cardone is like mad successful, like really rich, he's in the trenches because he's offering products that I can get. Like I just bought his book. I bought a real estate course. He's got courses. He's got so many things that people like me who are in the trenches can still be a part of. Like you can't, like Jay-Z, you have only his music. That's it. You don't have, like, you have interviews, maybe you have like some documentaries, but like nothing that's going to really change my life. Nothing that I can really practically use. But like Gary Vee does, Grant Cardone, they have stuff that I can actually practically do. No musician has that. Musicians don't have training courses. Musicians don't teach other musicians how to produce. Like I'm going to do that. You know, I'm going to teach people financial literacy. I'm going to teach people business as a rapper. Nobody does that. So that's where I want my legend to be, you know?
No, man, I definitely like the vision. And, you know, you got a lot of rappers, not only rappers, but athletes, you know, they make their money by performing. And, you know, they don't know their finances. They don't know the other opportunities out there to leverage their personal brand, to create other businesses and to have sponsorships, etc. And I think it's something that, rappers, musicians need to know about. And it's a good resource that you're providing with them. And I really hope that, you know, that your brand just goes off the hook and you become really big, you know?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah,
Sure,
thanks a
man.
lot, man. I hope so. And what you're doing too, it's super cool. Like I love podcasts. Like I'm a big podcast person. I have a podcast, and like, so when you contacted me, it was dope that you reached out. You know, I always believe in like people reaching out. I saw, like, I don't care about how many followers you have. I don't care about stuff like that when I like work with people or talk to people. That doesn't matter to me. Just the fact that you reached out like really well. And so whatever what you got going on, bro, same thing. And it's actually crazy. Like one thing that caught my attention was you actually interviewed a friend of mine named John Torres.
Oh yeah, it's a really chill guy.
I don't know if
Marketer.
I don't know if you knew that we knew each other, but like,
No, I did not know at all.
you didn't know that. Okay. So
I,
that's
I, I
funny.
found
So
I found that you followed each other, but I didn't think that you guys personally or
yeah,
met.
so we went to Chico State together and had multiple classes together. We're like boys.
Yeah, small world.
Crazy. Yeah. Oh wow, that's funny that you didn't even know we knew it. So I was scrolling through your page, and when I saw him, I was like, oh, he probably referred, this dude to me. But like I realized now he didn't. It's just coincidence. So I want to check out his interview that you did with him, because I know he's getting into digital marketing, like affiliate marketing. That's cool. But anyway, I just want to say kudos to you too for what you're doing, bro. You're putting out content, you're grinding, you're obviously getting dope guests on, like me and John, and like, like it's good. So big ups to you, bro. And anything that you need, like if you ever need help with, I don't know, like bouncing ideas off someone, or just like need help with like digital ads or like building a funnel and shit
For
like
sure,
that,
man.
you should hit me up, because I've been doing that for a minute. So yeah.
For sure, bro. I love that.